that was a knockdown, without a doubt. You can't spin it no other way. It's too clear. And I think the commission needs to do something about it because it can give me an incentive, anytime I'm not feeling good in a fight, take a knee.
The feeling is that it wasn't a knockdown. I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee in the fight and you touch down, whilst punches are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown.
I'm not going to say honest because I don't know if honesty had something to do with it. I don't know. But definitely we need better refs that assure themselves, knowing how to make a decision, know they're making the right decision.
Recently leaked footage has allegedly revealed how Gervonta Davis may have cheated during his match against Lamont Roach on March 1st at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The fight, which had the boxing world abuzz, saw Davis defending his WBA lightweight title against Roach. A pivotal moment in the 9th round has since sparked intense debate. At that point, Davis appeared to take a knee after a seemingly light jab grazed his face, a move that, according to standard boxing rules, should have prompted a full count and been declared a knockdown. However, the referee allowed the fight to continue without issuing a count, leaving the scores extremely close and ultimately resulting in a majority draw.
Gervonta Davis take a knee, and should he have been deducted a point and in the end lost that fight to Roach, in your opinion?
Yeah, in my opinion, if it was a draw, he take a knee. And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face, that's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules. But
in the aftermath of the fight, lingering questions have emerged not only about the referee's controversial decision but also about the actions of the fighters during that critical moment. Now, newly leaked footage has ignited an even more explosive allegation. Davis may have intentionally manipulated the situation in the ring to secure an unfair advantage.
Well, and that's not a shot at Tank. I respect Tank and I like Tank a lot, but you can't do that.
They reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
Just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right, to keep the integrity of the sport. So I feel like if you're gonna do it to me, you got to do it to everybody.
Newly surfaced footage, allegedly obtained from an undisclosed source within the broadcast team, captures the controversial 9th round from an angle previously unseen by the public. Observers have highlighted several unusual aspects of Davis's behavior during this critical moment. The footage appears to show Davis pausing immediately after the jab, almost as if the maneuver was premeditated rather than an instinctive reaction to the contact. His body language and the timing of his knee drop seem rehearsed, further fueling speculation. In the same clip, a brief shot reveals a member of Davis's corner moving unusually close to the ring, as if preparing to intervene. While corner teams routinely assist with wiping sweat or adjusting gloves between rounds, the proximity and timing in this instance have raised suspicions. Analysts argue that Davis's reaction, a sudden drop to one knee followed by a quick retreat toward his corner, resembles tactics used to buy time or disrupt an opponent's rhythm. This behavior contrasts sharply with the natural, instinctive response typically seen when a fighter is genuinely hurt. These visual cues have led some fans and experts to suggest that what initially appeared to be an accidental slip, perhaps caused by sweat or grease in the eyes, might instead have been a calculated move to halt Roach's momentum. In response to the mounting allegations, Davis and his team have vehemently denied any wrongdoing. In social media statements and press interviews, Davis has insisted that his actions were within the rules, attributing the knee drop to a momentary loss of vision caused by grease from his freshly styled hair. However, this explanation has been met with skepticism by many fans since the night of the fight. Davis's camp has also argued that the leaked footage, taken out of context, can be misleading in that the full scope of the fight is far more complex than a few seconds of video can convey. Adding to the controversy, referee Steve Willis has faced widespread criticism for not counting the knee as a knockdown. While Davis's team maintains that Willis made a judgment call under unusual circumstances, critics argue that the referee's inaction, combined with the seemingly calculated nature of Davis's movements in the footage, creates a troubling narrative of potential collusion.
Knowing how to make a decision, know they're making the right decision, emboldened to make that decision. I think that I don't know that he would have let Roach get away with that. He let Tank Davis get away with. Why? Tank Davis is a star. I think he set a record for the most fans ever in Barclays Stadium. Tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I believe they hit a new attendance and maybe a gate record They've done concerts there. They've done fights there, basketball games there.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was the record for the gate for a fight for sure. I think the Rolling Stones might be the only one that beat them at the Barclays. But either way, they did huge numbers.
The absence of an immediate official review, compounded by technical issues with the instant replay system during the fight, has only heightened suspicions. If the leaked footage is ultimately confirmed to reveal deliberate cheating, the repercussions could be substantial. John Davis, whose record has remained nearly untarnished until now, could face not only a damaged reputation but also potential sanctions from boxing authorities. Discussions are already underway about whether the WBA or the New York State Athletic Commission might reopen an investigation into the events of the fight. Beyond Davis's personal career, the incident casts a harsh spotlight on the broader state of professional boxing, a sport where split-second decisions, ambiguous calls, and the potential for misconduct often turn moments of triumph into controversy. Should regulators uncover evidence of intentional rule-breaking, it could spark demands for stricter oversight and more robust review systems to safeguard the integrity of the sport.
I don't know. I mean, the reality is can the state call for an immediate rematch? I don't believe they can, the commission. It's really up to the governing body. I mean, the commission can overturn a decision or rule on a decision, but can they order a rematch? That really has to come from the governing body, the WBA, to say, if you want to remain lightweight world champion. But everything I'm hearing is the rematch is going to happen anyway. Like, I think it's pretty much done.
Talk to us about the star power in this May 2nd card.
Yeah, I mean, you got three of the hottest young fighters in terms of that, that social media presence.
This latest controversy has sparked a heated debate among fans and experts about the urgent need for greater transparency in boxing. Leaked footage, even if potentially taken out of context, highlights significant gaps in the sport's current review processes. Boxing commissions may now face pressure to adopt new technologies and protocols to ensure that every controversial moment is subjected to immediate and objective scrutiny. On social media, fans are already calling for governing bodies to release full fight footage and provide detailed explanations of referees' decisions. While the leaked footage has undoubtedly added fuel to an already intense debate, it's crucial to remember that allegations alone do not constitute definitive proof. The images and angles captured in the video raise serious questions, but they represent only a small fragment of what transpired that night. As the discussion continues, the focus remains on ensuring fairness and accountability in the sport moving forward.
I've heard some people saying, that he should be disqualified. He went back to the corner. I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And Shakur said to me, even the day before, I'm telling you, he's going to have big trouble tomorrow night. And I just feel like hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe where he was.
Boxing remains a sport rich in nuance, where tactics that blur the line between clever strategy and outright cheating are not uncommon. As the investigation unfolds and more context emerges, fans and officials alike will be searching for clear evidence that either confirms or disproves the allegations against Davis. For now, the debate continues to rage. John Davis stands accused by some of exploiting a loophole in the rules, while his camp firmly denies any wrongdoing. This incident has undoubtedly left a lasting mark on his career, serving as a stark reminder that in the high-stakes world of boxing, even a single move lasting just seconds can have monumental consequences. The razor-thin margins on the judges' scorecards, 114 to 114, 115 to 113, told the story of a fiercely contested battle as John Davis successfully defended his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach. However, one moment overshadowed the entire fight, igniting heated debate across the boxing world: the controversial non-knockdown call early in the 9th round. As Roach pressed forward aggressively, landing a swift 1-2 combination followed by a sharp right hook, Davis paused momentarily, turned to referee Steve Willis, and then voluntarily took a knee. Instead of issuing a standard knockdown ruling, Willis allowed the fight to continue as Davis quickly moved toward the ropes, seemingly searching for a towel to wipe his face. This sequence left fans and analysts alike questioning what had truly transpired.
He's a star. He brings people. He's got a big fan base. He brings good pay-per-view numbers. I don't know what the numbers are in this, but You know, he's one of the guys that bring good pay-per-view numbers. I think all of that, he brings that with him. When a referee allows him to take a knee, which is not a rule in boxing, and get away with it, and not make it a 10-8 round. That should have been a 10-8 round. He got hit with a jab just before that. I'm not trying to go after Tank Davis. People already know. Some people say I defend him too much, that I'm saying how great he is. And he is. He's a tremendous, complete fighter. Puncher, fighter, inside, outside. He's patient. He's responsible defensively.
This incident alone raises serious concerns in boxing. Once a round begins, there are no timeouts or breaks to regroup. Yet, Davis not only took a knee but also triggered an unofficial timeout, two clear violations that should have resulted in either a disqualification or a knockdown ruling. If you're wondering whether referee Steve Willis counted, he did, but when he reached 3, instead of ending the fight, he inexplicably allowed Davis to rise and continue as if nothing had happened. The fight concluded with one judge scoring in favor of Davis, while the other two called it a draw. Davis attempted to explain the incident by attributing it to hair grease, stating, "When you sweat, it was coming into my face," and expressed hope for a rematch in New York. However, as I emphasized last Sunday in Ring Magazine, based on over 30 years of experience, taking a knee without being punched should be ruled a knockdown. This oversight directly impacted the fight's outcome. Had the referee ruled it a knockdown, Lamont Roach Jr. might have secured a unanimous decision victory by a narrow margin. This injustice has weighed heavily on the WBA super featherweight champion. At 29, Roach refused to accept the decision as fair and, along with his team, has enlisted an attorney to formally request an investigation by the NYSAC. The fight for justice has begun. Roach has been vocal in criticizing Davis and condemning the knee incident, stating, "I'm happy with my performance, but I'm frustrated with the scorecards. I thought I won that fight. Even without the knee, which should have been a knockdown, I did enough to win." But that's just how the cookie crumbles. Roach further elaborated on the incident, recalling, "When I saw the ref start counting, I thought, why did you stop? There was an exchange, I threw a left hand, he hit me a little, I rolled, came back with a right hand, landed a jab, and he took a knee. Even if he needed to wipe his eye, that's a rookie mistake." That's a knockdown. The controversy has spilled over onto social media, sparking a back and forth between Roach and Davis. Davis took to X, formerly Twitter, to defend himself, writing in a since-deleted tweet, "They took the fight from me and made it a draw because of that knee. But I landed the most punches in the fight. He didn't even hit me when I took the knee." Davis, known for his low punch output ranking second lowest among active fighters, added, "I get it, I shouldn't have done that, but the hair grease was burning my eyes." A community note on his tweet pointed out that Davis actually landed fewer punches than Roach round by round, to which Roach responded, "The community note is crazy." No matter how hard he tries, Davis can't outrun this controversy. Despite his recent victory over Frank Martin in 2024, where he stood atop the division with an air of invincibility, Davis now finds himself mired in controversy. Once seen as an unbeatable force, his confidence was shaken when Roach stepped into the ring as a heavy underdog and pushed him harder than anyone had before. Round after round, Roach stood toe-to-toe with Davis, landing punishing shots and shaking him multiple times. When the final bell rang, the judges ruled it a majority draw, though many believe Roach had done more than enough to secure the win. The fallout from this fight continues to loom large, and the debate over what truly happened shows no signs of fading.
Offensively, he's got fast hands, he puts punches together, he goes to the body net, he's all of that. He can counter punch, he can set traps, all of that. But he was wrong here. He got away with it, but the sport let him get away with it. There's nothing wrong with the fighters.
Fueling the controversy was a pivotal moment in the 9th round when referee Steve Willis failed to call a knockdown after Davis's knee touched the canvas, a missed decision that could have handed Roach a unanimous victory. Now, more than a week later, a new voice has entered the conversation as speculation about a Davis-Roach rematch continues. Lightweight prospect Raymond Muratala's father, Gabriel Muratala, has weighed in on why Davis fell short against Roach. During an interview with LALES News, Muratala confidently declared, "We will beat Lamont Roach," attributing Roach's effectiveness against Davis to their prior amateur bouts, where Davis had already defeated Roach twice. Muratala also suggested that Davis respected Roach a little too much, adding, "We are not going to respect him, we are going to pressure him." Meanwhile, the NYSAC has issued its ruling on the knee incident. the New York State Athletic Commission upheld the contentious majority draw between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr., even while acknowledging that referee Steve Willis erred by not calling a knockdown in the 9th round. The commission argued that overturning the result after 3 additional rounds of action would not guarantee a correct outcome. Gregory Emma Smith, Roach's attorney, expressed disappointment but remained confident, stating, "Lamont is confident that a rematch will end with a victory." Until then, he is the people's champion at 135 pounds. Davis defended his actions, claiming the knee was not due to a punch but because grease from a hair treatment burned my eyes. Unless a rematch is scheduled, Roach will have to accept the draw as the commission's final decision. Roach's team was outraged by Willis's handling of the situation, particularly his interruption of the 8 count to signal a knockdown, a mistake that likely cost Roach a 10-8 round across all 3 scorecards. They also criticized Willis for not penalizing Davis when he turned his back on the action, a move that could warrant disqualification, and for allowing Davis to receive attention from his trainer mid-fight. In a surprising twist, 2 judges awarded Davis a 10-9 victory in the 9th round, enabling him to retain the draw. "It's a disappointment, but we had to protest," said Gary Jonas, founder of ProBox TV, which backs Roach. "We can only control what we can control. Once we get Lamont back in the ring with Davis, we'll have the chance to get it right." Roach, who holds a record of 25-1-2, 10 KOs, expressed optimism that the New York Commission would rule in his favor, given the time they took to review the case. Ultimately, the commission acknowledged to Roach's attorney that Willis had erred and that Roach deserved credit for the knockdown. However, they refused to alter the final outcome, standing by their decision. Roach remains hopeful for a rematch, bolstered by public support and his belief in his performance. Adding to the controversy, the commission's official review did not receive the video footage of the knockdown in time for a potential reversal. Jonas noted, "An unofficial win is almost as good as a win." The response and support for Roach have given his career a major leap. This was a bittersweet outcome, but it's far more sweet than bitter. As a 16-1 betting underdog, Roach delivered a stronger performance than expected, twice shaking Davis with powerful blows. Despite this, Roach never seemed intimidated by Davis's renowned strength. Jonas expressed hope that the NYSAC would use this incident as an opportunity to ensure fair treatment for both fighters moving forward. "Lamont won the fight in the eyes of the public and will take that," Jonas said. The NYSAC's decision affirmed that referee Steve Willis erred in the 9th round by not ruling a knockdown when Davis dropped to one knee after taking a hit from Roach. However, as boxing promoter Eddie Hearn had predicted, the commission chose not to reverse the outcome, citing the 3 additional rounds fought after the incident and the fighter's adaptation to the initial decision. The NYSAC stated that altering the result would amount to misplaced conjecture. Roach and his team had filed an official protest, arguing that acknowledging the knockdown would have secured Roach a decision victory, making him a 2-division world champion. However, the ruling stood in Davis's favor, allowing him to maintain his unbeaten record and retain his WBA lightweight title.
This sport that there's a lot wrong with, and there is, and you see it, and we shouldn't keep seeing it. It's got to be stopped. A referee, that is not in the rule book. You get hit with a jab. I know there was a second or 2 in between. Sometimes you see a delay, knockdown, whatever. The punch didn't hurt him. I understand that. But he got hit a jab, and then a second, 2 seconds later, he takes a knee. Guess what? I'm sorry. That constitutes a knockdown. Your knee goes down after a punch somewhere around there.
A few days ago, Unbiased Boxing took to X, formerly Twitter, to share an intriguing post featuring an interview with WBA super featherweight champion Lamont Roach Jr. on Nightcap with Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson. The conversation quickly turned to the hotly debated draw with Gervonta Davis, prompting a key question: did the referee's missed call in the 9th round influence Roach's approach in the later rounds? Without hesitation, Roach delivered a firm response. "Hell no." He explained that Davis dropping to one knee wasn't a sign of defeat but rather a moment that fueled his confidence. To Roach, it was proof that his strategy was working, that Davis was feeling the pressure and beginning to falter. The simple fact that he took a knee was really a boost because it showed what we're doing is working, Roach revealed. The Washington native also highlighted his advantage, noting that the two had faced off twice during their amateur careers, giving him insight into Davis's tendencies. Roach recounted the pivotal moment in the 9th round when he landed a crisp 3-punch combination, one of which struck Davis flush in the eye. Sensing a shift in momentum, Roach immediately turned to referee Steve Willis, demanding, "Keep counting. He's tripping, that's a knockdown." As Davis dropped to a knee, Roach fully expected Willis to enforce the standard 10 count. However, after reaching 3, Willis inexplicably stopped, choosing not to call it a knockdown. This controversial decision became the defining moment that led to the fight's disputed draw, because if y'all didn't notice, he started to count and then he stopped, Roach said, frustration evident in his voice. When he resumed the action, I was like, what are you doing? Keep counting. To add to the controversy, one of Davis's coaches, Calvin Ford, brazenly stepped into the ring mid-round to wipe his fighter's face, a clear rule violation that could have resulted in Davis's disqualification. For a seasoned referee like Willis, such oversights in a high-stakes championship fight were baffling. Unsurprisingly, Roach and his team are outraged, viewing this as a blatant officiating misstep. But Roach isn't alone in calling for change. Boxing stars Ryan Garcia and Terence Crawford have also voiced their frustration. In a tweet, Garcia wrote, "What I'm wondering is if the commission only makes changes when you complain and cry like Haney, or if they actually care about the integrity of the sport. Nothing against Tank, but since the commission switched my victory, they should switch this victory for Roach. They won't though, because they were out to get me from the beginning." Crawford also weighed in, tweeting, "Roach won, and that should have been called a knockdown. Let's see what happens." Minutes later, he added, "I've never seen someone take a knee, and they don't count it as a knockdown. Must have forgotten the rules for tonight." Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez publicly expressed his support for Davis, not just regarding the Roach fight but also for another high-stakes matchup. During the Fatal Fury press conference in New York, Fight Hype caught up with Lopez and asked for his thoughts on a potential clash between Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Without hesitation, Lopez stated, "I still think Tank will win against Shakur. Technically, I just think like that." He emphasized his belief in Davis's in-ring skills and power, though he acknowledged that Davis needed the wake-up call from the Roach fight. Tank had been sitting on his laurels, Lopez said. All of this was needed for Gervon. But I think Tank will be more cautious moving forward after this hit. When asked who he thought won on March 1st, Lopez responded, "To be honest, I'll say Tank, for the name." As for the knee controversy, Lopez dismissed it, saying, "It doesn't really matter, guys. It's boxing business." That wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming content.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more exciting videos, make sure to hit the bell icon and stay updated. Subscribe to Boxing Hub now for all the latest in boxing.